Robin says she needs everybody to catch that a married man should not be in a single woman's hotel room. But then the receipt had showed that Juan had. That's none of my business. Anyways, Mia says that she owned more than 40% of her company. Somehow, though, she was not a managing member, meaning she was not a decision maker. And then Ashley has completely and utterly fumbled the bag. I don't know how that happened either. Well, yes, I do. Michael Darby is smarter than her. Candace and Chris have successfully retrieved 6 embryos, so they might be the mama and the daddy real soon. And Gizelle was told she could take her apology and shove it where the sun don't shine. I enjoyed this part 1 of the reunion. Usually part 1s are kind of, like they're kind of non-starters for the most part, and the juiciness happens in part 2 and 3. But for me, this part 1 was really entertaining, probably because I didn't really watch the last few episodes of the season. But no, I enjoyed this yesterday. Felt bad for Mia, felt bad for Ashley. Both of them seem like they just really don't have a clue what's going on in the world and in their lives. And, that kind of sucks. Anyways, I want to talk about, hey, loves, welcome back to Day Spills Tea. I, of course, am the lovely Day. We got to talk about this season 7 reunion, part 1, which I feel like it really gave. So we start out talking about Ashley. Ashley. I shouldn't be laughing because it's really not funny. It's her real life, but this was really stupid. So they asked about her situation with the divorce with Michael. She said that she's not getting half. She also said that the prenup was ironclad, that she is also not allowed to take alimony, okay? And she said that any monies he came into the marriage with, she is not entitled to, okay? Any money he made off that money that he came into the marriage with, she is not entitled to. So one must ask yourself, all of the money that he made during the marriage, wouldn't he have used money he came into the marriage with for those investments? That means she's not getting nothing. Like, you have to really ask yourself, like, under what circumstances would he have made money off of money that he earned during the marriage? He wouldn't. He would be using all the money from his life before Ashley to make money in the future. And he was smarter than her. He's not a young buck. He'd have been around the block a time or two. He was smarter than her. His lawyers were better than hers. And they made sure that he was protected. She's not getting nothing. She's getting her child support. And her 2 beautiful children that, so that's wonderful. But then she said, well, and the house with the $13,000 mortgage that you said you can't pay without his help. How is that a win? Like, are you going to be able to pay this $13,000 mortgage every month by yourself? Like, I don't know what your Rhop salary is like, but I don't know if I would advise it. So, I mean, like, is that where most of the child support is going to end up going? And then she, Candace was upset because she said, y'all talked about my mom taking care of me or my family taking care of me. And Ashley had the nerve to get buck and was like, by the time my children are 30, they're going to have houses in their own name. Ashley, do you have a house in your own name? Or is it in the LLC's name? Which probably just has Michael's name. And hell, Michael might be the only managing member in this LLC. We'll talk more about managing members in a minute. But yeah, this is ridiculous. So she's legit walking away with nothing from what I can see. And if y'all see where she's getting some additional money, please fill me in because I don't see it. I don't see it. So then they talk a little bit about her and the guy Luke who she was seeing and how that didn't work out. They talked about how Michael has a key to her new house and she's really looking goofy. Like her and Mia, they are like competing to look the most goofy. And by goofy, I mean stupid. That's so mean. I'm not trying to be mean. I promise I'm not. So he has a key. Now, the reason that most people don't want their ex to have a key is because something went wrong in the relationship where they weren't seeing eye to eye. So you have no reason to believe that Michael is going to obey your silly little rules about we have to give each other an hour time before we show up, and that there's no pop-ups, no unannounced visits. So that's what she said, was that there's no unannounced visits. You know, we give each other an hour's time. But then in the next statement, she says how she was supposed to have a long weekend with the Luke guy, and Michael dropped the kids off early. Honey, he don't give a damn about your rules. And if you can't trust him and you're not going to be in a marriage with him, you should not be trusting him with your key. This is stupid. Like this doesn't make sense. And I feel like her mom or Uncle Lump or somebody just like need to shake her or something. Like, this doesn't make any sense. I don't know how she has come to this place. I don't know how she has come to this place. I don't know what made her. I'm assuming that the desire of having a big, fancy, luxurious house kind of interfered with her being able to think really clearly about this situation. I don't believe anybody who she's affiliated with would have told her that that was a good idea. So anyways, Ashley done fumbled the bag. When she had the second baby, I thought, oh, well, maybe she's, she got a plan. She knows what's in her prenup. Maybe she needs this second baby for something. I don't know. There were times where she was like trying to have him make amendments to the prenup. And I thought, oh, she's getting it together. No, she wasn't getting nothing together because his lawyers had already protected him. He good to go. He's good to go. So that's that. Anyways, so then they move on to Mia and they talk about Mia's illness. And Mia, I feel like just be talking. Like, I feel like she don't be knowing what's going on and she thinks she's really bright. Maybe she is, but I can't see it. So as Andy is asking her about her illness, first, let me say, yes, very glad that it's not cancer because that mess is ugly. My sister just recently beat cancer. Ooh, that makes me excited, but it is ugly. It is horrible. It is horrific. And I don't wish it on anybody. So I'm very glad that that's not the situation. But as Andy is asking her, like, okay, so was it just a rash? She starts talking about, I had a lump here and I had a this and that. And then they needed to x-ray my breast to make sure it didn't spread. What are you talking about? Make sure what didn't spread? Like, was it a rash? So because what she was saying didn't really answer anything, Candace chimes in and is just like, okay, so it's not the sarcoidosis. It's not that. No, it's not that. So she starts talking, rambling again. None of us still has a clue what she's talking about. So Robin is trying to clear it up. Okay, so did you receive a diagnosis? And then she starts going off again. It's just like, okay, like getting this woman to answer a question directly is like pulling teeth. So, and of course they showed us a flashback of her sitting at the dermatologist's office. As Wendy pointed out, you were not at an oncologist, which is who you would see about cancer. She was at a dermatologist. And we see her saying, well, when somebody tells you you're going to die soon, and G is like, yeah, that's how you interpreted it. And she's looking at him like, okay, why are you not going along with my story? Anyways, yeah, that was kind of ridiculous to me. And so they talk about how Wendy had her hot mic moment and Wendy said, we all know she's lying. Okay, so like, I'm not necessarily team Wendy. I mean, I have been when Mia like disrespected her and threw that drink and stuff. I'm not necessarily team Mia, but most people had a suspicion that she was lying. But I felt like Wendy's point in her conflict with Robin was not so much that Robin suspected that Wendy was lying. It was that when someone is sick, you don't go to their face and accuse them of lying. Like, you can ask questions and you just support them, pray for them if that's what you do or whatever. You can, I ain't gonna lie, you can even smile in their face and still think they lying. But I do agree with Wendy that it is very rude to accuse someone of lying when they say they have an illness. And even though she believed that she was lying, whatever. I didn't think that was a big deal, whatever. But Mia felt like that was a huge win to say, and you were a lying snake or whatever. Anyways, so Wendy and her company. So Andy asks about the company and G being voted out. And I feel like she thought she was speaking so intelligently. And she even had the nerve to condescend to the other women and say, well, if you don't understand business, you don't understand business. Baby, you don't understand business. Just because you shuffle those pamphlets and brochures and put them at the front of the table, it's not CEO quality characteristics. Anyway, so what she said happened was that There were two managing members, G and one other person, I'm assuming his brother or whatever, and they met and voted in a third managing member. Well, that third managing member and G's brother or whomever got together and decided G has to go. It happens. It's business. But what was really interesting was a couple things that made me sound uninformed. That's a better word. I'll say that, uninformed. Was that she said, well, when you have multiple people on a bank account, you can, one of them can go and remove the other person, without their consent. Everybody on that stage and 99% of us at home know that's not true. My family, we have an LLC for our business. My husband and I are both on the bank account. You signed several documents that make it very clear that all signatories have a say in someone being on the account or being removed from the account. I can't just go in there one day and say, take him off. I mean, what bank can you do that at? What bank can you do that at? Like, that's crazy. So everybody was like, no, that don't make sense. But she claims that it's absolutely true. Again, what bank do y'all do that at? Anyways, so then she went on to say, Karen asked her, do you own what? Maybe 40% because you're the CEO. And she says, I own more than that, because she takes every opportunity to brag and try and elevate herself. But it kind of contributes to you looking uninformed. So she says she owns more than 40% of the company, but you weren't one of the 3 managing members. So just to make sure we're all on the same page. Yes, when you have an LLC, which I'm assuming is their business structure because she mentioned members and managing members, you do have members and you have managing members. The managing members have full authority to make all decisions for the company. You all can do votes, but the managing members reserve the right, generally speaking, and based on what's in your operating agreement, to make all the decisions. If I own 40% of a business, am I not going to be a managing member? Like, if you owned 40%, how much of it did G own? And if you and G owned, let's say, more than 50%, and y'all had one other managing member at one point, why the hell would y'all have voted in a third managing member and it not be you? This don't make no sense. This don't make no sense. I don't get it. Like, how does that make sense? If you're a majority owner, or even if, if it was 45%, like I'm assuming again that G owns some portion of the business, why would you all have voted in this third person? And if you voted in a third managing member, why would that third managing member not have been the CEO? Because it was title only? Because you weren't really running or managing anything. So you say you were the CEO and you said you were also employed as the marketing director. And so she said that money is gone. So she's not receiving that salary anymore, which sounds like it means they fired her. So they voted to let her go as well. That kind of sucks. Like, all of this is horrific and sucky. And the reason I kind of feel bad for her is because it seems like she really thought she knew what was going on, thought she was running things, and that wasn't the case. I don't know what G knew, but she didn't know much, apparently, allegedly, or whatever I have to say to keep her from trying to sue me or whatever. The whole thing just sounds really, really crazy. And I don't know. But, like Jay-Z said, if you made it, then make another one. Let's see if that happens. And then she went on to brag a little more about how they have several rental properties. Girl, why are you? This is not a flex. That is not a flex to have several rental properties because you're bi-coastal. But nobody explained to her that bi-coastal means 2 separate coasts. Nobody explained to her that bi-coastal doesn't mean North Carolina and DMV area, which, is not bi-coastal. So that tickled me. Anyways, but you're renting properties in several locations. There's no equity being built. There's no tax write-offs or anything for this. This is just money being wasted. And then on top of that, Gizelle flat out accused the baby of embezzling money, and Mia didn't seem bothered by that at all. She just said, why would I do that? But let Candace or Wendy have accused her of embezzling money. Whatever. You you could say that that Gizelle is her friend. But if you're my friend, you don't sit up on a national platform and mention me and my husband and embezzlement in the same sentence. Like, Gizelle really don't give a damn. Okay, if your name not Robin Dixon, Gizelle really don't give a damn what happens to you. I would never have said that to a friend. Never. Like, what? You sat up here and accused this woman of embezzling money from her business that she been outed from. Anyways, what happened next? Let's see. So Gizelle claims that Chris admitted it, whatever it was. So she claims that because he texted her after rapping and said, "I'm sorry if I made you feel uncomfortable." First of all, that is not an admission of any sort. It is an acknowledgement of your feelings, and it is an apology. But it does not admit that he did anything wrong. It's not an admission at all. But Gizelle and Robin, they say whatever suits whatever agenda they have for the day, and they really just don't care. At least that's the way it seems to me. And Andy even agreed. He's like, that really didn't sound like an admission, but whatever. And so Gizelle just kept repeating it, but repeating it, honey, doesn't make it an admission. I don't blame Candace for still being pissed, because all of that extra stuff, that extra razzmatazz that Gizelle put on those comments about Chris, it was unnecessary. And you don't get to just say, "I'm sorry," and have that wound suddenly close and heal. You called my husband a sneaky link. You said he was trying to see if you was with it. You sat in my house and ate my husband's cooking. No. And so Andy is like, "Did you care about Chris's reputation?" I can answer that. No. Gizelle don't care about nobody's reputation. All she cares about is keeping the show popping, which she does a good job of, keeping the storylines running and keeping the conflict going. She's great at that. But she don't care about ruining somebody's reputation. No. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, that's real messed up. I still feel really bad for Chris, because he just didn't really deserve to have this blip in his life. Like, I can't see where he deserved to have that happen to him. What else happened? Oh, so Candace, in being upset, she made some comments about Gizelle's dwindling uterus. I get being upset. I get telling her to take that apology and shove it and all of that. But the dwindling uterus thing, that was a little bit much. I'm not going to say she was wrong, because you can't tell people how to react and how to be mad. But it's not a comment I would have made, knowing that she actually had a serious condition that, she had to have rectified. Because, surgery is always scary, especially as a female raising 3 daughters. I kind of empathize with Gizelle there. But, yeah, but I get Candace being mad. Anyway, I enjoyed this part 1 of the reunion thoroughly and completely. Yeah, I don't know what else I'm looking for in part 2 or 3 or whatever else is coming. Oh, I guess we're going to see Sharice gonna get over here on here with those heavy lashes. And we'll see what she's got to say. So maybe we get to see her and Karen go at it. We'll get to see Mia and Wendy have at it about this whole Peter situation. But, I was happy with this episode. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Leave some comments down below. Let me know what you think about what I had to say. What you think about Mia and this company, and Ashley and this non-alimony. It's crazy. Anyway, thanks so much for watching.